Welcome to Secrets in the Shadows. My name is Charlotte, and today we're diving into a case filled with deception, betrayal, and a shocking fight for justice. Michele Marie MacNeill was born on January 15th, 1957, as Michelle Summers. Michele Marie MacNeill was an American homemaker and model. Michelle was married for nearly 30 years to physician Martin MacNeill and was the mother of 8 children. She died in Pleasant Grove, Utah on April 11th, 2007, while at home recovering from cosmetic surgery performed 8 days earlier. At her husband's request, the operating surgeon prescribed 4 medicines for her recovery. 2 of the drugs, diazepam and oxycodone, would not normally be prescribed to his patients. Michelle had been concerned during her recovery that Martin was having an affair and that she had been given medication by him inappropriately. Her daughter, Alexis, a medical student at that time, then took responsibility for giving Michelle her medicine. Michelle recovered sufficiently for Alexis to return to school, but Michelle died the following day. Initially, police and autopsy reports concluded that Michelle died of cardiovascular disease. But after being pressed to review the toxicology report, the state's chief medical examiner found that the combination of medicines in her body could have contributed to cardiac death. As we unravel this story, you'll discover hidden secrets: Martin's past crimes, the mysterious death of his brother, and the shocking extent of his deception. How did a trusted doctor get away with murder for years? And what shocking details have come to light since his conviction? Stay with me as we uncover the truth. This is Secrets in the Shadows. Michelle was a beautiful, kind, and dedicated mother. She was the heart of her family, raising 8 children. Her husband, Martin MacNeill, was a well-respected doctor and lawyer. He was charming, intelligent, and successful. People admired him. But Michelle's daughter, Alexis, saw something others didn't. Martin was controlling. He had a temper. Sometimes his behavior made her uneasy. Still, no one imagined what he was capable of. What they didn't know was that Martin had a dark past, a history of fraud, manipulation, and even suspicions of involvement in another family member's death. Michelle and Martin had built a life together, but behind the facade of a loving marriage, cracks were beginning to form. Michelle had started to notice strange behavior from her husband. He would disappear for hours, act secretive, and withdraw from their family. But the biggest red flag, Martin had been pushing for Michelle to undergo plastic surgery. Before we dive into Michelle's tragic story, let's take a look at Martin's past. Because the truth is, this wasn't the first time someone close to him had died under suspicious circumstances. Years earlier, Martin's brother, Rufus Roy MacNeill, was found dead in a bathtub, just like Michelle. His death was ruled a suicide, but many close to the family suspected otherwise. Martin had previously spoken about his brother's mental health struggles, but some investigators questioned whether Martin had played a role in his death. According to one woman who had an affair with Martin, he allegedly admitted to killing his brother because he considered him an embarrassment due to his repeated suicide attempts. This revelation added another layer of suspicion surrounding Martin's history of deception and possible prior crimes. According to the arrest warrant, Martin had also attempted to harm his own mother. Martin's criminal history ran deeper than most people realized. In his younger years, he went on a forgery spree, writing approximately $35,000 in bad checks over 3 days. He purchased diamond rings, expensive clothes, and electronics, living a life of deception from early on. His fraudulent actions even inspired a newspaper article titled "Brilliant Forgery Spree Inspired by TV." In 1994, Martin was accused of engaging in inappropriate sexual relations with a patient at the BYU Health Center. In 2000, after Michele caught him looking at pornography, Martin threatened to kill both himself and Michele with a butcher knife. He made similar threats again in 2005. Martin had always had a dangerous side, but no one had ever been able to stop him until Alexis started digging. In early 2007, Martin told Michele she needed plastic surgery. She was shocked. She didn't think she needed it, but Martin kept pushing, telling her it would make her look younger. Michele hesitated. She had high blood pressure and worried about the risks, but Martin wouldn't take no for an answer. He even set up the appointment himself. Alexis thought this was strange. Why was her father so eager for her mother to have surgery? On April 3rd, 2007, Michele underwent the procedure. The surgery was successful, but afterward, Martin made sure she had a dangerous mix of medications: Lortab, Ambien, Valium, Percocet, and more. Too many drugs, too many chances for something to go wrong. But Martin had a plan. Dr. Martin MacNeill drugged his wife, Michele, because he wanted her gone. His reason? He wanted to be with his mistress, Gypsy Willis. He knew that if Michele had plastic surgery, she would need strong painkillers during recovery. That gave him the perfect opportunity to control her medication and make sure she was too weak to fight back. By over-medicating her, Martin ensured that she would be vulnerable, disoriented, and unable to stop him. Then, when the time was right, he put her in the bathtub, and just like that, Michele was gone. On the morning of April 11th, 2007, Martin MacNeill frantically called 911, claiming that his wife, Michele, was unresponsive in the bathtub. His tone was panicked, yet strangely rehearsed, as he repeatedly shouted, my wife is in the bathtub. She's not breathing." The operator instructed him to begin CPR, but Martin kept stalling, insisting, "She's heavy." Instead of following directions, he repeated himself, exaggerating his distress, while his 6-year-old daughter, Ada, cried in the background, the same child he had sent to check on Michele. When paramedics arrived, they found the scene suspicious. Michele was fully clothed. Her hair was dry. The bathtub was nearly empty. Despite Martin's hysterical performance, it was clear Michele was already gone. This suspicious emergency call became a key piece of evidence in proving Martin MacNeill's guilt, as his behavior didn't align with genuine panic or an attempt to save his wife. While emergency responders were trying to revive Michele, Martin picked up his phone again, this time to call his daughter, Alexis. She was away at medical school, feeling some relief, knowing that her mother was improving. Then the phone rang. "Alexis, she's gone. Your mother's gone," Martin told her. Alexis froze. It didn't make sense. Just the day before, she had carefully monitored her mother's recovery. Now suddenly Michele was dead? Her father's voice wavered, but something about it felt off. It wasn't grief, it was performance. Shaken, Alexis immediately called her aunt, Linda Clough. "I don't believe him. I have to get home." The moment she arrived, Alexis could feel something was wrong. Martin was there, crying, insisting he had tried to save Michele. But Alexis wasn't fooled. Then she saw it. Michele's medication bottles tossed in the trash. Days later, when Martin's mistress, Gypsy Willis, moved into their home, Alexis knew for certain. Her mother's death wasn't an accident. Her father had murdered her. In 2012, Martin MacNeill was arrested for murder. The trial began in 2013, and prosecutors presented shocking evidence against him. The jury listened carefully, and after weeks of testimony, the verdict was clear: guilty. Martin was sentenced to 17 years to life. Later, Martin was also convicted of sexually abusing his daughter Alexis when she was visiting to clean out her mother's belongings 5 weeks after Michelle's death. He inappropriately touched her while she was asleep on the bed, then claimed he thought she was her mother. Alexis bravely testified against her father, saying she wanted to protect her younger sisters. A jury found him guilty, adding another 15 years to his sentence for sexual abuse. Despite multiple suicide attempts before and after his conviction, Martin's final act came after a failed appeal. The Utah Court of Appeals rejected his claims, confirming his conviction. Unable to face the consequences, Martin used a gas line and a hose to take his own life in prison in April 2017. He was found unresponsive near a greenhouse at the prison's Olympus facility. There were no obvious signs of foul play, but his history of suicide attempts led many to believe he had planned it for some time. Thank you for watching Secrets in the Shadows. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I'm Charlotte, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe and always trust your instincts. What do you think about this case? Let me know in the comments below. Do you think justice was truly served? Rest in peace, Michelle. Your strength, grace, and love for your children will always be remembered.